Back in the mid to late 2010s, gimbals were everywhere. Since then, a lot has changed, and it has become clear that everything has its right time and place. And yet, I'd still consider a gimbal to be a valuable tool for most of us. With the Cinepeer Crane 4E, Zhiyun promises top-tier performance at a budget price. But with so many options around, why would anyone decide to pick up this gimbal? I think you'll be surprised. Ironically, the Crane 4E is part of the Cinepeer lineup. Cinepeer usually signifies the budget alternatives to Zhiyun's main products. Why is this ironic, you might be wondering? Well, if you compare the Crane 4E to Zhiyun's more expensive Crane 4, you'd be hard-pressed to find many meaningful differences, and that's a good thing. They cut the Crane 4's fill light and the balance indicators. The rest of the build appears to be virtually identical. Great stuff. What I am sorely missing is a proper case for all the components. I've complained about it in the past and I'll complain about it again. Bringing a cardboard box to a paid gig is not a good look, and at the time of recording this, there is no way of purchasing a fitting case from Zhiyun's store. The Cinepeer Crane 4E was provided by Zhiyun for the purposes of this review, and I do get to keep it. This video isn't sponsored, but it is supported by all of you guys who decided to pick up my brand new Chroma LUT collections. If you're interested in getting the exact color DNA I used to make these videos look the way they do, check out the link in the description box. The gimbal is made up mostly of hard plastics, which sounds way worse than it actually is. For someone like me who has been using the original Zhiyun Weebill S since late 2019, this feels like a huge step up. Flimsy locks with rattling parts are a thing of the past. This gimbal feels sturdy and secure, with locks that click into place with a satisfying, much more powerful motors, longer arms, a touchscreen and improved ergonomics. And also quite a bit more weight to carry. While the Weebill S weighs less than a kilogram, the Crane 4E clocks in at roughly 1.6 kilograms, or about 3.5 pounds. Obviously, this is comparing apples to oranges though. My previous gimbal is very clearly intended for lighter loads and small mirrorless cameras, whereas this one is directly competing with DJI's top-tier variants in terms of payload, handling setups up to 4.5 kilograms or close to 10 pounds. No setup I would feasibly want to use as a solo filmmaker would max out what this thing can carry. That said, zoom lenses with an extending barrel design will throw off the center of gravity, and constantly rebalancing the gimbal before and after grabbing a few close-ups would be a huge waste of time I often can't afford. This puts more stress on the motors, which isn't recommended. It works, but you could often hear the Weebill S struggle with managing the payload. With the Crane 4E, this has become a non-issue. Most of you won't know this, but I have a professional background in design, and believe me when I tell you, good product design is really hard. Zhiyun went with a dual plate design for their quick release solution. The upper plate is attached directly to the camera and can be secured atop the lower plate by locking a latch. I use cages on all of my cameras. These cages are natively compatible with Arca quick releases. And yet I still have to attach another quick release plate to the bottom of the cage. This aspect isn't exclusive to Zhiyun's gimbals, far from it, but I hope manufacturers will eventually become aware of it and streamline this process as much as possible. At least give me the option to purchase a plate that could spare me the extra work anytime I assemble the entire setup. In my experience, gimbal performance has already been really good for many years. So much in fact that I didn't feel the need to upgrade from my old Weebill S. Where its budget price becomes crystal clear though is when looking at anything else that has nothing to do with its performance. Thanks to its responsive touchscreen, the simplified menus and the overhauled inputs, the Crane 4E is vastly more intuitive to use. You'll get all the expected settings for motor torque, responsiveness, deadband and so on, along the auto calibration feature. The joystick and button layout feel really comfortable and easy to access while shooting. When you hook up your camera to the gimbal, you can control aperture, shutter, or ISO with the dedicated control wheel. The trigger button has a few different applications as well. My personal highlight is the customizable adjustment wheel I personally use to control the roll axis of the gimbal. This allows me to create some nice sweeping motions without doing uncomfortable acrobatics behind the camera. Assembling your camera in a vertical orientation is fairly quick and simple. No additional parts are needed. I wasn't sure what to expect when Zhiyun encouraged me to try out their Master Move accessories. While they were originally intended for the Crane 4, they can also be used on the Crane 4e without any problems. It's a separate purchase consisting of an adjustable sling grip as well as an adjustable wrist rest. I was disappointed to realize that mounting the grip and the wrist rest to the gimbal requires an Allen key. There's one in the package, sure, but there's gotta be a more efficient solution to solve this issue. Not a good first impression. Actually using the accessories is an absolute joy. And trust me, I know how ridiculous this is gonna sound, but these seemingly gimmicky additions make a huge difference. I'd go even further and say it makes this the most fun gimbal I've ever used. On various different productions, I've shot with a bunch of other gimbals, from Payload to DJI and so on. None of those were nearly as comfortable to operate as the Crane 4e with the Master Move accessories. Being able to freely adjust their position to comfortably fit your wrist and grip is a genius design decision, and using the sling grip as an additional handle makes precise movement easy to achieve. Zhiyun claims 12 hours of runtime on a fully charged battery. This is difficult to replicate in real-world scenarios, as most shoots will have wildly different demands for the motors. What I can confirm is that PD fast charging works flawlessly and completes the entire charging cycle in just 2 hours. Do note that the battery is directly built into the grip of the gimbal and can't be swapped out manually. I've heard a lot of people herald this as a deal breaker when talking about other gimbals with built-in batteries, but I'm not sure I agree. I didn't run into a single problem during the last couple of months of using this gimbal, and I've never managed to even come close to depleting the battery. So, let's make this simple. If you mainly use small mirrorless setups with light lenses, a large gimbal is going to be overkill for your needs. But if smooth footage is important to your work, events, weddings, car commercials, real estate, the Crane 4e might be the best bang for buck you can own right now. It can carry as much as the heavyweights, and in my opinion, delivers the most comfortable shooting experience to date when used with the Master Move accessories. If, and only if, you're interested in adding the Crane 4e or the Master Move accessories to your kit, check out the links in the description box below. And if you enjoy videos like this one with actual real-world projects, consider subscribing. There's much more to come.